Imagine a laboratory enclosure containing a single subject. The subject is provided with everything necessary for survival: ample food, water, and access to a mate. However, a modification has been made. An electrode has been surgically implanted into the septal area of the subject's brain. A crude lever is installed in the corner of the box. When the lever is pressed, a mild electrical current stimulates the pleasure center directly, bypassing all sensory input. The subject discovers the lever by accident. Initially, the interaction is tentative, but within minutes, the behavior changes. The subject begins to press the lever repeatedly. It stops eating. It ignores the potential mate. It ignores sleep. It presses the lever 2,000 times per hour. Eventually, it collapses from sheer physical exhaustion, on only to crawl back to the lever the moment it wakes. Given the choice between sustenance and the signal, it chooses the signal until it starves to death. This is not a fable. This is the 1954 experiment by neuroscientists James Olds and Peter Milner. You must understand that structurally, you are no different from the subject in that enclosure. You possess the same limbic system, the same nucleus accumbens, and the same fundamental reward circuitry. The only difference is the design of the lever. For the subject, it was a metal bar. For you, it is a capacitive glass screen. Every time you pull down to refresh a feed, every time you click a notification, you are effectively depressing the lever. You are delivering a microdose of stimulation that bypasses the evolutionary requirement of effort. Like in the natural world, the world your biology was engineered for, dopamine was a currency earned through friction. To eat, you had to hunt or forage. To socialize, you had to travel and speak. The reward was inextricably linked to the effort. The modern digital interface has severed this link. It has removed the friction. You are now swimming in a supernormal stimulus environment where the reward is free, instant, and infinite. The brain, efficiently designed to conserve energy, logically concludes that the lever is the most valuable object in your universe. Why would it allocate energy to writing a report, learning a skill, or engaging in a difficult conversation? Activities that require high energy expenditure for a delayed reward. When the lever offers a guaranteed, immediate biochemical payout, you are not losing focus because you are weak. You are losing focus because you are a biological organism functioning exactly as designed in an environment that has been engineered to exploit that design. We can diagnose this condition as the incentive inversion. In a healthy cognitive economy, the anticipation of a long-term goal drives current behavior. You endure the tedium of work because you value the outcome. In your current state, the hierarchy has inverted. The immediate, low-effort stimulus has hijacked the wanting system. Note the distinction between liking and wanting. Kent Berridge, a researcher in affective neuroscience, identified that these are two separate systems. You can want something, compulsively checking your email, scrolling through a feed, without actually liking it. And think about your own behavior during a procrastination spiral. You are likely not enjoying the content you are consuming. You may even feel a low-level anxiety or disgust while doing it. Yet, you cannot stop. The wanting system is firing aggressively, driving you to press the lever, while the liking system has long since flatlined. You are stuck in a mechanical loop of seeking without finding. This is the definition of the trap. The distraction does not provide rest. It provides a state of high-energy agitation masquerading as leisure. You emerge from an hour of scrolling not refreshed, but depleted, because you have been running your neural engine at high RPMs in neutral gear. You are experiencing the fatigue of the rat, collapsed by the lever, starving in the midst of plenty. And to find a way out of the cage, we must look to the philosophy of Arthur Schopenhauer. Schopenhauer, known for his pessimism, offered a piercing insight into the human condition. He viewed life as a pendulum swinging violently between two poles, pain and boredom. When we lack what we want, we feel pain or desire. When we get what we want, the satisfaction is fleeting, and we instantly swing to boredom. Schopenhauer argues, the basis of all willing is need, deficiency, and thus pain. But the moment you get what you want, you face a different problem, a terrifying sense of boredom and emptiness. This explains why you reach for the phone. You are not necessarily seeking pleasure, you are fleeing the fearful void. When you sit down to work and the task becomes difficult, you feel the friction, pain. Alternatively, and when you have a moment of silence, you feel the emptiness, boredom. The digital lever offers a third option, a state of numb, suspended animation. It allows you to step off the pendulum. It is a tranquilizer for the existential anxiety of simply being alone with your own mind. To reclaim your focus, you must accept the Schopenhauerian reality. You must be willing to endure the swing of the pendulum. You must relearn how to tolerate the friction of difficult work and the emptiness of silence without immediately reaching for an anesthetic. Focus is not a passive state of flow. It is an active act of suffering the withdrawal of the lever. The first tool for breaking the lever is a protocol of friction injection. If the core problem is that the reward is too accessible, we must artificially reintroduce the friction that technology has removed. Willpower is a resource that degrades over the course of the day. Friction is a constant physical barrier. The mechanism is simple. You must increase the activation energy required to access your distractions to a point where the wanting system determines the effort is too high. This is not about deleting apps, as you can easily reinstall them. This is about changing the physical relationship with the device. Implement the 20-second rule. Research suggests that if a habit takes more than 20 seconds to initiate, the brain will often abandon the impulse. If your phone is on your desk, the activation energy is near zero. If your phone is powered off, inside a drawer, in another room, the activation energy is significant. You must make the distraction physically difficult to achieve. Furthermore, apply this to the interface itself. Enable grayscale mode on your device. By removing color, you remove the visual salience, the red badges, the bright icons that triggers the primate visual system. You turn the supernormal stimulus back into a generic tool. You are effectively rusting the lever, making it harder to press and less satisfying when you do. The goal is to make the act of distraction feel like labor. The second tool addresses the complexity of the alternative. We will designate this the granularity adjustment. The subject presses the lever because the action is binary and the outcome is certain. It is a simple mechanical loop. Press, receive. Real work, writing a proposal, analyzing data, studying philosophy, is frightening to the mammalian brain because it is abstract, nebulous, and offers no immediate feedback. The activation energy required to start a project is massive compared to the activation energy required to press a lever. The brain, seeking efficiency, will always choose the lever. To counter this, you must artificially lower the activation energy of your work until it mimics the simplicity of the lever. You must not attempt to work. You must atomize the task until it becomes a sequence of binary mechanical actions. Do not set the goal to write the report. That is a complex cognitive load that induces Schopenhauer's pain. Instead, reduce the scope until the resistance hits zero. The goal is open the software. Then, Type the header. Then, write one sentence. By breaking the complex task into microscopic, binary steps, you are effectively turning your work into a series of small levers. You are tricking the basal ganglia. You are providing a steady stream of small completion signals that keep the anxiety of the void at bay. You do not need motivation to press a button. If you make the steps small enough, the friction disappears. You are not relying on willpower. You are relying on mechanical momentum. You are engineering a path where the work becomes the path of least resistance. The experiment of 1954 ended tragically because the subject had no capacity for metacognition. It could not redesign its environment. It could only respond to the strongest stimulus. You possess the capacity to redesign the enclosure. You can see the wires. You can see the trap. The distraction you feel is not a defect in your character. It is a defect in your environment. You are a biological organism attempting to function in a digital Skinner box. To reclaim your focus, you must respect your biology. You must rust the lever of distraction by adding friction. You must grease the gears of production by atomizing the task. The focus you seek is not a feeling you wait for. It is a function you engineer. Step away from the lever. Begin.